Hey, so Bad Bunny and the show over this past weekend, let's chat about how this whole thing went down south, because there has been a lot of talk about some of the symbolisms that he was trying to portray with his show. And I think that was great. I mean, overall, it was a great show. Yet, I'm not too sure if it was the best time to bring in all of these hidden messages in there. Maybe that time was more for the people than to push an agenda. Although, obviously, from his perspective, probably that was the best time, as there were a lot of eyeballs on him. So the message was definitely delivered. And the message, more than anything, the way that I interpret this is, some kind of like antagonism or some type of statement about how we are different from the rest of the empire, how we do not belong here, or we do not feel that we don't feel that we are part of the same nation. And I thought it was very interesting because, in a way, I think that they side with another bigger cultural movement in Latin America that always also feels that way. But before we dive into that, I just wanted to briefly outline three different types of dynamics that I've observed over my life between Anglos and Latins. The first dynamic is very friendly. There is no animosity or anything too hostile. There's always, kind of like jokes around costumes and ways of doing things and overall manners. That is between Northern and Southern Europeans. It's very friendly overall. I mean, there's, like always some kind of thing, but it's overall very friendly. The second dynamic is between the Anglo portion of the Americas, so specifically the US and Canada, and the South Cone of the world, that is Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay, and the south of Brazil. That dynamic, it's not antagonistic, it's not hostile. I call it quiet admiration. I think that portion of the world quietly admires very much and feels very comfortable around Anglos icons, cultural icons, Anglo systems and ways of being the world and understanding the world. You can see that with obviously President Milei in Argentina. He is a hardcore libertarian and he follows those dogmas out of the US and other schools around the world, but he has no problem, showing affection and openly giving credit when it's due. And the same goes for probably the new president in Chile and, overall, the people, they are very welcoming of the Yankee, as they call Americans in Argentina. And the last dynamic is way much more hostile. And I have observed that dynamic very closely over my years living in Mexico. Although I will say it's something that trickles through all Latin America. But leading that more hostile, antagonistic relationship is definitely Mexico and the Caribbean. And the Caribbean also includes Puerto Rico. So Bad Bunny with his show, I think what he did was certainly put front row make very evident this division between the Anglos and the Latins. And I think that in the particular case of Puerto Rico, Mexico is a different animal, but in Puerto Rico's particular case, that dynamic can also be reflected in the family system, where you have your big brother, you have your little brother, and, big brother ignores little brother, so little brother gets very annoyed and basically throws something at big brother, so big brother can notice him, and it's that type of relationship where I hate you because I like you so much, and I admire you, so that's why I hate you, and until you don't pay attention to me, I'm not going to stop, kind of thing. So in a way, it's hostile in the surface, but I wonder if it's really that hostile when you start digging in. I don't have the answer for that. I hope it's that way, because if it's not that way, then it is a problem, because then you have an enemy. And my question for tonight is, what do you do when you have a relative that has this ill posture or this ill attitude towards you? Do you just cold cut this person, or do you try to work it out? Like, what do you do? So I'm really hoping that there is a chance for this to improve, this dynamic to improve, especially because it's part of the same territory, so that kind of like push and pull seems a little bit too rigid to what's going on in the world right now. And not only because, just because of wishing the good for the people, but also because Puerto Rico receives about $38 to $40 billion annually from the federal government to be able to survive. So you are now resisting something that you are dependent on. So what's the deal? If you really want to be independent, Mommy! What is the plan? Anyways, I gotta go. My name is Magdalene. I do these videos so I can learn how to articulate better my ideas. My son is here, so I will have to go. But I brought an essay about this same topic that you can find in the description box below. Thank you. Bye.